Please join me in welcoming CEO Eric Gordon.
The opportunity to stand before you today with more than a decade of service behind me as your superintendent and CEO of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District.
After CMSD CEO Eric Gordon delivered his 11th State of the School address, he answered questions from the audience. And many of those questions came from the students in what he calls the best questions.
How do you plan on helping students that fell behind during the pandemic?
Thank you. Great question. The hardest questions always come from our students. This is a Ways Park scholar here. Our philosophy is to figure out where you are. What do you know? And leverage that asset. So maybe you should read at the 5th grade level and you're reading at the mid-4th grade level, then let's start there. And let's put books that you're really interested in and make you want to read and get you reading so that you skill up really quickly because you start from a place you know.
I've been watching the news lately and it's saying COVID's getting worse again. What happens if it does get worse? Are we just going to go back online or are we just going to stay this way?
So COVID is getting worse. And COVID is impacting kids now. We have a kindergarten student who's hospitalized right now. We have high school students who are hospitalized right now. And we have staff members that are hospitalized right now. So it is not just on the news. In our lived reality, it's getting worse. The good news is that we have had so far almost 400, maybe now over 400 cases identified this school year of students or adults with COVID. Those are the ones that told us. There are others that don't tell us. Only one case happened at school. That's because you and your peers and your professionals are wearing their masks, doing your temperature checks, keeping the sanitizing and hand washing, staying 3 feet apart where you're able to do so. We're fogging our classrooms and buses. We're doing what we know we have to do. And that's keeping us in school. And my team and I look at this data every single day. And we are making adjustments literally daily. We had one class, we switched to remote because we had an in-class infection. They did their 10 days, they're back in school. If we have to do that for a school, we'll do it. But our primary goal is keep up the prevention, keep up the mitigation so that we don't get there. So good, great question again.
Okay, my question is, what is the hardest part about being deal with the coronavirus still going around?
That doesn't feel like a fair question. No, you know, I tell people when they ask me how are you doing, it almost doesn't feel like a fair question to ask anymore, and it's such part of our culture of kindness and courtesy, and I tell people I'm living the COVID dream. The hardest part, I think, is making sure that you're okay. You and all of your classmates and all of your parents, and that I have a responsibility to that, and making sure that you know I communicate that we are going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We are, and I would argue, in some ways, doing far better than many other communities because of the space and grace we've created as a community.
How hard are some of the decisions you have to make?
So, remember snow days? Here's the thing about my job is people who are in my job because they want to make everybody happy will fail. You can't. You know, if I call a snow day, you're going to be elated and your mom is going to be upset because she wants you in school, right? And so part of my job is to really do what I believe at my core is the right thing to do. And so there's lots of hard decisions. But at the end of the day, I always I call it, can I put my head on the pillow at night? Did I do what I fundamentally believe is right? And that makes it a little easier for me. And I think that's true whether you're CEO or whether you're a student scholar or whatever profession you'll choose. We're all going to face hard decisions. We're never going to please everybody. But if we can honestly say, I hear you, I understand you, and here's the reason I did what I did, and I hope you respect it, that's what makes it work for me.